Hello students! This is my second try at this video. The first one I recorded the whole thing and for some reason the file didn't get saved to my iMovie or it was corrupted or something. So here we go again. Welcome back to I think this is our 5th virtual week of Experiment Club. Again, I am working really hard to try to find and come up with experiments that will have materials that are easy for you guys to find and use, maybe things that you have in your own homes, hopefully, so that you can follow along with us as we continue to invest in our science studies and hopefully try to keep you guys busy during quarantine. I know that a lot of us are probably struggling finding things to do, maybe watching too much Netflix. Not me, of course, but hopefully these experiments that I'm still sending out and working on are helping to keep you busy and engaged and learning through this time. Most of them are just fun things with supplies that are around your house. So, oh dear. Recording videos are hard because you can see yourself as you're doing it. All right, back to Experiment Club. Anywho, Experiment Club, this week we will be looking at pennies. So hopefully you did the egg experiment last week and hopefully it was fun for you guys. It's one of my all-time favorite science experiments probably. That and the pH experiment that we did at the very beginning of the semester are two of my favorites. I just love the results that we get from those, and I just think it's so exciting. But this week we're going to be focusing on pennies. So we all know what pennies are, right? We use them for money and currency, and they get touched a lot. So we think maybe they have different colors because of how dirty they are. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I just have 3 pennies that I grabbed out of my wallet. So you can see this penny is pretty shiny. Okay, this one's somewhere in between, and then this one's really dark and dingy, isn't it? Okay, and so our question for today is, how do we clean pennies the best? So we have all these pennies that are different colors, and we'll talk about why that happens in a minute, but in your email and on Edmodo, you have a lab sheet, okay? And our experiment title is, what liquid will clean pennies best? So your experiment question will be something like, very related to the title, what will clean pennies the best, okay? And so the next section always on our lab sheets is our background information, and so we know that pennies look different. Sometimes it's because of their age, sometimes it's because of the way they've been treated, but what are pennies made out of? Well, they used to be made out of copper, right? So this is the copper color, right? It's kind of a shiny orange. But pennies now, I think it's since 1982, have been what we call copper plated. So the outside is made of copper, and I believe the inside is now made of zinc. So copper pennies are no longer solid copper, they're copper plated. So a very thin sheet of copper on the outside. And if you were in one of my science classes last semester, we actually hollowed out a penny, and I will share with you guys how to do that as a experiment extension in part 2 of this video when I show my results. So, but today, some background information. They're made of copper. Today they're copper plated. Copper reacts with oxygen and creates copper oxide. Okay, when you hear that oxide, that's always talking of oxygen. So copper oxide. And copper oxide is what makes a penny go from looking shiny and pretty like that to looking dingy like this, okay? And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out what substance we can use to take away that copper oxide or the dinginess that we see on the pennies, okay? So after we've talked about some of our background information, and you can take some notes from this video for your section on your lab sheet, the next thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna form a hypothesis, okay? So look at some of these materials and maybe decide what you think is gonna clean the pennies the best. You might come up with a couple things you think will clean it best because you might see a commonality in some of these liquids or fluids that we're going to use to clean the pennies. Now, next you're going to fill in your materials, and I sent out the materials as a list in your email, and it's also on Edmodo, but we're going to be using, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 pennies cups, and then all of these liquids. Then you'll see on your lab sheet there are some blank sections, and in those sections you're going to get to pick your own, and we'll talk about that in a minute. Then you're going to fill in your procedure. Actually, your procedure is filled in for you, so you don't have to do that, which is nice. But essentially, you're going to put a penny in each cup, and then you're going to put some liquid in each cup. And then you're going to leave the penny for 30 minutes to an hour, okay? And so there's a spot on your lab sheet for you to note how long you left your pennies in. Then you're going to remove them, rinse them off, and then you're going to see the results of your experiment. Now, please, as you're doing your experiment, and you go through your pennies, hopefully you have a penny jar in your house somewhere, and try to get pennies that have about the same level of tarnish or dimness or about the same color to start with, because that's what's going to give you the best results. If you put these two pennies in, in two different liquids, are you really going to be able to tell which one got cleaner? No, because they didn't start the same. And I know it's impossible for us in this class to have exactly the same color pennies, but try your best to get them to be at least similar in color so that your results will really help you learn what cleans pennies best. Now, also, so then you're going to record your results, and you may want to come up with a scale like 1, 2, 3 based on the color that they turn out. But describe for us how they looked when you took them out of the fluids. Then I want to talk about the 3 that you're going to choose. Now, you may want to choose just random things: rubbing alcohol, laundry detergent, shampoo, body wash, with the help of a parent, maybe bleach. Of course, bleach we don't want to mix with anything because it can create chemical reactions. But maybe with a parent's help, you're going to use bleach. Just think of different liquids. You might want to pick a theme. Okay, Coke is on here. You might want to do sodas. So Coke, Sprite, orange soda, just carbonated water. You may want to do different kinds of soap: Dawn, hand soap, body soap. Okay, pick different kinds of soap, laundry soap. Or maybe you want to pick 3 different hot sauces. Okay, so hot sauce, maybe Tapatio, and then Tabasco, and then Frank's Red Hot. And just think about what you have in your house and what you want to test to see maybe if with the different soaps or hot sauces or 3 different brands of ketchup, if you get the same results, or maybe one ketchup cleans better than the other. Salt water, water, plain water, alkaline water. You might want to just try different things and experiment with the results, okay? And then you will record your results and your conclusions. Then there's a place for extensions. Now remember, extensions is a place where I'm usually going to present some other experiments that you can do to take the learning a little bit further, or different experiments that you can do specifically with pennies. But we will talk about that in part 2 of the video, which I will be posting tomorrow when I have my results, as I'm going to conduct my experiment today as well, all right? So, as always, fill in your lab sheet. This would be a great sample. Please let me know your results. One student did actually message me this week from did their egg experiment, and they were so excited about it. And I got to tell you, I pretty much jumped for joy because it was so neat to hear from one of you guys that you're doing the experiments and that you're enjoying it and that you're having fun. I really want to provide this for you guys during this time, and I'm working hard to do so. So I hope some of you are enjoying these experiments, and if you're not doing them along with us right now, you can always go back to these later and watch the videos, as they will still be in your history, in your email, and on YouTube. So miss you guys. Hope you're all doing well. And I will, and one last thing, the bread, our bread experiment. So next week will probably be our last week with the bread experiment, because the bread is getting kind of stinky. I can't keep it in my house anymore because it smells really bad. So I have it down at the office again. I took pictures today. You'll get those in your email right after you get the lesson plans for the pennies experiment today. But I'll send out the bread pictures today, and then next week I'll send them out, and then I'm going to have to get rid of them. But we're getting some really neat results, so hopefully you've been enjoying that too, and I will hopefully see you guys soon.